If you're looking for a ride like Accelerator with its powerful launch, but wish that it was just a bit longer, I may have the perfect ride for you. Today I'm going to review Storm Runner at Hersheypark, my current favorite launch coaster.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 8.
Hey guys, and welcome to 808 Coaster Life. If you're new to this channel and you love roller coasters and other theme park related stuff, please consider subscribing. Instead of focusing on height and speed like the other intimate accelerators in the US like King the Ka, Top Thrill Dragster, and Accelerator, Storm Runner focuses on having inversions and a longer layout after reaching its highest point. But does that make this ride different from the other three I just mentioned? Stay tuned to find out. If I were to describe this ride's presentation in one word, it would be low-key mysterious. Okay, fine, 2 words. But what I mean is that it's not like completely hidden away like, for example, the Beast at Kings Island. However, it's also not completely visible like, for example, Silver Bullet at Knott's Berry Farm. It's easy to point out the large elements of Storm Runner or whenever it flies over paths, but it's hard to look at the big picture because the trees around this ride have grown so tall that it covers the low parts of the ride. I really like this ride's presentation and surrounding scenery since that's what makes this ride different from all of the other major coasters at Hersheypark. Now, just because this ride isn't as tall, fast, or as old as some of the other intimate accelerators in the US doesn't mean that it escapes the reliability issues that the others face. Storm Runner is down for a little bit the first day I was at Hersheypark, and we all know that Storm Runner closed for all of the 2020 season because they were waiting on a part from Intimate.
That's rough, buddy.
It is more reliable than Top Thrill Dragster, for example, but nowhere near something like Great Bear in the same park. As with most coasters at Hersheypark, there is basically no theming. It also tends to get a pretty long wait unless you go in the morning right when the park opens. I managed to get one ride during my very busy 2 days at Hersheypark in row 8. For context, it is 2 rows away from the back row, so it generally felt like a back row ride. I was assigned there because my lack of social skills couldn't get me any other row. This ride uses Intimate's soft over-the-shoulder restraints, also found on rides like Maverick, Intimidator 305, and Fahrenheit. It was overall pretty comfortable, but obviously not as good as a lap bar. It did staple me a little bit, but still managed to give more room than Skyrish's test seat. This ride has a height of 150 feet, but manages to pack a 180-foot vertical drop, making this technically a terrain coaster. It also has a top speed of 75 miles per hour, a track length of 2,600 feet traveled in 50 seconds, 3 inversions, and costed $12.5 million to build. Your ride experience starts by slithering out of the station and waiting for the launch, and then this happens.
Get ready, here we go.
I can't believe you've done this.
This ride and other intimate accelerators use hydraulic launch technology, which means much faster accelerations than most electromagnetic launch coasters. This launch in particular goes from 0 to 72 miles per hour in 2 seconds, which is equivalent to a car going 0 to 60 miles per hour in 1.7 seconds for context. While I found Accelerator's launch to be slightly better, it's still a great and super forceful launch, and you'll definitely be pinned to the back of your seat. Following the launch is, not surprisingly, a top hat, but unlike the others, the drop is straight down. No turn, no 270-degree twist, just a pure vertical drop. Towards the back, I thought it offered some pretty decent airtime. Overall, a great drop. Next, you reach your top speed and pull strong positive G's in this valley where I did notice a rattle but didn't take too much away from the ride experience. Your first element after the drop is a Cobra loop, which really is just a deformed implement, and it felt like one too. The top wasn't really forceful, but also didn't have any hang time. I've always wished that the name Cobra loop would have been for a more unique element, but oh well. The ride then pulls up into probably the best elements of the ride. You first get a pretty good pop of ejector airtime, which completely caught me off guard, and whip into a heartline roll offering lots of laterals with 0 positive G's. Then it continues to roll into the famous flying snake dive. For some reason this element didn't feel as intense as I thought, but still was a very cool sensation. It's probably better in the very back row, but the whole sequencing of elements in this section was amazing. The ride finishes with a whippy bank turn to the right before banking left, which didn't really do much, but that ends your ride experience on Storm Runner. Overall, Storm Runner met my pretty high expectations, and I do think that it is the most intense coaster at Hersheypark that I rode. I know some people have called this a combination of Maverick and Top Thrill Dragster, and while I can see the resemblances to both rides, I don't think Storm Runner behaves very much like Maverick. I thought of Storm Runner more as a longer accelerator, which definitely isn't a bad thing since Accelerator is one of my all-time favorite rides. So a longer accelerator is always appreciated. This is why I think this ride is slightly better than Accelerator, making this my current favorite launch coaster out of like 7. While Accelerator Accelerator had the better launch and restraints and I guess stats, I thought Stormrunner was better in all other aspects. Although Stormrunner does do more after its top hat, I still wished it was a little bit longer, but the land Intimate had to work with was pretty compact, so that's pretty understandable. So does heightened speed make Stormrunner inferior to the other 3 Intimate accelerators in the US? Not necessarily. Also, before you comment on what I think you're gonna comment on, Matugani isn't open as of the making of this video. Overall, the pros are the launch, intensity, inversions, presentation, pacing, and longer layout. The cons are the ride duration, restraints, and reliability. I'm gonna give this ride a score of 4.5 out of 5. This is my 3rd favorite ride at Hersheypark, and it's not that it disappointed me, it's just that 2 of the rides there impressed me a little more and were more of my type of ride. But Stormrunner is one of my favorite coasters ever right now, and I love its intensity, its launch, and its pacing, which is pretty top notch from start to finish. What are your thoughts on Stormrunner at Hersheypark, and if you've ridden it, what is your favorite part of the ride? Let me know down in the comments. And if you want to know what my 2 days at Hersheypark were like, check out the card up there. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to let me know by leaving a like on this video and maybe even subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time.